Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and guys, if you could hear actual smile on my face right now, if you're not watching, it's because I have a very, very special guest here right now. So this person really means a lot to me in a lot of ways that I don't even think they even know. She's beautiful, she is talented, she is smart, she is sexy, but most importantly, she's real. And that's perfect why her show is called, she's a podcaster, it's called Let's Just Be Real. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the host of the Let's Just Be Real podcast, none other than the great Marissa Tonge. What is going on, Marissa?
What's good?
So modest.
What's poppin'? First of all, thank you for all that.
You're welcome.
That was a lot, but thank you.
I'm very extra.
I receive it. Thank you. And thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if you're even aware of this, but you have shown up on First Class, Second Place more than any other guest has. Yes. This is number 4 that you're on the show, and this is actually a full circle moment because the first time we ever met in person was actually here at Bravery Studios. By the way, we're live and direct at Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to Scooter Behind the Glass, by the way. And but yeah, no. So for a little backstory for people who are not aware, so I started First Class, Second Place back in 2021, September 2021. So to be specific, and it was just audio only. I was just getting my feet wet and so on and so forth. And then this lovely woman here reached out to me because she was thinking about starting her own show eventually in the future, but she wanted to, know somebody that knew what they were doing as far as that's concerned. Mm-hmm. So she hit me up to see if we could possibly work together. She can be a guest on my show because I was looking for guests, and we also needed to find basically a medium ground where we can meet. We didn't know each other from a can of paint at the time.
Right.
We never met each other in person.
Right.
So I was looking for a place to call home for my podcast, and I remember I met Marv. Shout out to Marv of Bravery Studios. He showed me around, and we came here, and then the rest is history. So the first time she came on this show was actually here in studio, and now she's back for the 4th time.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
You need to start like a leaderboard.
A leaderboard?
like with returning guests. Because I'd be at the top right now. I'd be number 1.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm number 1. You heard that? Let me stop.
I'm screaming.
Let me stop. Not you picking up. I'm about to make shirts. I'm screaming. We need to.
Yes. You do have merch already. Mm-hmm. So, I think we got to, make that happen as far as like I'm screaming shirts or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, I'm very happy that you're here. I not only have you been on my show, this is the 4th time, like we said already, but you also have your own show, Let's Just Be Real podcast. And I was also very fortunate not to be on your show not only once, but twice. Both times were amazing, but I really enjoyed the last episode that we did last week, aka the Gender Wars. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun, and I've been getting a lot of great feedback from people that are familiar with my show, but they don't know exactly who you are just yet. But that's about to change soon, and it's been nothing but great positive feedback. And I gotta say that I'm really, really fortunate and honored to be a person that you can confide in with these kind of conversations, because unfortunately we live in a time where everybody's so afraid of their own skin and their insecurities that we don't want to open up and be vulnerable. And I think that if we can get past that, then these conversations would be few far in between because we understand where each other is coming from.
Absolutely. Agreed. And I'm grateful for you as well, like coming on the podcast. You've been the only guy on the show, so it's been great. I'm all for like women empowerment. My business is surrounded with like women and supporting women and all of that, but it's cool to have a different, perspective and vibe on the show. So that was a really good episode. If you guys don't know, check it out. Let's Just Be Real podcast. And last episode 64 with Jason. It was good.
No, I had a lot of fun. Now, so one of the things that I love about what you're doing with the podcast, because first of all, you have plenty of hats. You're a dog mom, you're a business owner, you do dance, you do this, you do that, and you're also a podcaster, and you also do these retreats and so on and so forth. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. But what I love about what you're doing specifically with the podcast is the number one thing that I ask for anybody that's in this medium is consistency. And you have been staying consistent on top. Even when you took that little break to your retreat recently, you came back like you never left. And I just love everything that you've been doing. And I really think that you're really good for this kind of medium, because I don't know if you feel this way, or you might have a little bit of imposter syndrome like I do, but you seem very confident and you know what the hell you're talking about, and you know what you need to do and say in order to get your point across. And you also have fantastic guests not named Jason Enrique as well.
Thank you. You're so wow. All the compliments today, guys. Like, wow.
Well, I mean, they may be
I love it.
compliments, but I mean, am I lying? These are all facts. These are truths.
Facts.
Right
They
here.
are facts.
Yeah.
They are facts. But yeah, like I definitely do wear a lot of hats for sure. And it's funny that you say that, like, you know, this is a great medium or like platform for me, because I was thinking about that today. Like, you know, how did I end up with a podcast? Like, because it wasn't like I was thinking about doing this, you know. The funny thing, okay, so there is a little backstory. So
Okay.
I was gonna do a podcast like before the pandemic with two of my friends. And one of them, my best friend, shout out to Rakia. And then another person who sadly we're no longer friends, but you know, it just never worked out, like, because you know, we just weren't serious, or even if we were, it was just like we were thinking about like topics and what to talk about. Like it was gonna be kind of inappropriate, and we were just like, maybe not. But I always knew, like, whatever platform I show up on, I just want to be myself, and I want to be real, and I want to talk about like meaningful topics, not just like bullshit.
Yeah.
Because there's so many podcasts about bullshit.
Exactly. You know, it's like the dreaded barbershop talk. You know, you just
Right.
talk about anything and everything and no holds barred.
Right.
Which, if it's done right, then you know, more power to you. But there's just so many people that I don't feel like they actually understand how it goes, or especially, you know, somebody tries to be the alpha, so to speak, especially when there's a group. So, but no, but not only have you been staying consistent, like you do 2 episodes a week. So what I also want to know is, like, you up to 64 episodes now, about to be 65.
Yeah.
How do you come up with these topics? I mean, are you a naturally inquisitive person already, or do you actually sit down and figure out what exactly that is that you want to talk about on that specific episode?
Ooh, I love this question. So I would say a lot of the topics that come into my mind are through like either stillness, or like just in the shower, or cleaning, or just like doing something. Like, it could be anything, but I feel like I'm always inspired, and, you know, I'm a creative person. So there's a lot of ideas that I always have brewing in my mind. So as soon as I get it, I just write it down. So I have like a notes in my, like a note thing dedicated to podcast topic. And I just go in my notes and I'll just like write down whatever. And it's not always that time that I like shoot that. So like I could have an idea today and I don't record it until like a month later. Sometimes it depends on the day, or like how I'm feeling. So like, whatever I'm feeling intuitively, you know, like whatever I feel like I could really talk about. Because some days I'm not down to talk about like relationships. I'm not always down to talk about like, you know, it could be different things. It's based on my mood.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not particularly a fan of this question, but I'll still ask you anyway, because it seems like every podcaster is asking each podcaster this. So is there a favorite episode that you have? And if so, which one is it and why?
Right now, I would say, damn, I don't know. They're all like my kids, you know, and like you can't pick a favorite
That's
child.
a very common answer that podcasters give also. I've definitely asked that, been asked that before, and I've given the same answer. But I would say just kind of think of it in context. Like I'll give you an example to kind of help you out. So my favorite episode is actually my very first solo episode, which you've actually told me it was a great job.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's my favorite is because not only was the reception of it very warm and welcoming, and everybody was giving me all these accolades, and I appreciated it, but it was a big test for me. It was a test for me to see if I can actually do this shit on my own and rise to the occasion when adversity comes. Because beforehand, the only time I ever did a solo episode was my introduction, and that was just 5 minutes. I was just telling people who the fuck I was. That's it. And also, it was very necessary for me because I was going through a lot of bullshit and drama in my personal life, and I just needed it to get out because I feel like I was being silenced once again. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to take this opportunity to do it. And that is why, based on those contexts, that is my favorite episode thus far.
That makes sense. For me, damn. Okay, if I had to pick, I'll pick one.
Okay.
It might not be my favorite, but it comes to mind.
Yeah.
Because this was a special time in my life. So I went to Bali last year for my birthday.
Yes.
And it was a solo trip. That was a huge deal to me to even like go there by myself. And I recorded an episode while I was there, and it was 32 things I learned by 32. So I kind of just like
I do remember that
went
one.
through. Yeah. And it was good. Like I recorded it like no pressure, like just vibes and kind of just being authentic. But I did have to write down the 32 things. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't like think off the bat, but yeah, that was a vibe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what I'm also wondering is that, so let's just be real. I'm not saying it's a basic title, but it sounds very easy to come up with in certain aspects. And what I mean by that is one of the reasons why I chose First Class Second Place as my podcast name title is because it's literally nowhere out there. Like, I had a bunch of them out there in my head that I could call it, but I would look it up and I'm like, oh damn, there's already 2 or 3 of them already named this.
Yeah.
And then I finally found mine. Or came up with mine, I should say, where nobody else had it, and it has that own uniqueness.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory why you would name it. Let's just be real. But did you kind of like rack your brain as far as what did you want it to call it, and then afterwards it just kind of hit you, or you just be like, I'm just gonna call it like this and call it a day?
I definitely knew that I wanted real in the title because that's my brand, like everything.
Real rhythm,
real vibes, like everything is real. And I like to think that I'm real. I hope, I come across
Otherwise, you
as
wouldn't
that.
be here on First Class Second Place.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I just knew I wanted that in the title. So I did come up with like a few different names. I like sent them to a few of my friends whose opinions I value, and then I narrowed it down to like 2, and then yeah.
Is there anybody that maybe in your personal life or even just an acquaintance that is somebody that you would love to have on your show but it just hasn't happened, or you're just waiting for the right moment?
No, I have some pretty amazing guests coming up and I'm really excited for it, like next week. So I feel like for the most part, like the people that I've wanted to have on the show, I've had them on the show, and I'm pretty good with like connecting with the right people. And also, like, I was telling someone this the other day, like I'm very particular about who I want to have on my show because I want it to be that real, authentic vibe. So like, I don't want anyone to come on the show where like it's a forced conversation or it's awkward, or like I just want them on the show for like their audience or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be a good fit.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, because ever since the show this show particularly has taken off, you have no idea how many people have actually reached out to me because they want to come on my show, but they have no idea what the show is about. Like, I'll even give you an example. So there was a guy that reached out to me and he said he wanted to come on my show, and I looked at his profile and he only had like 3 pictures. It looked like it was a brand new account. I didn't even know if it was a bot or something. And I wanted to know, like, well, why do you want to come on the show and what do you have to bring to the table?
Yeah.
Even though I come off very blunt and, may rub some people the wrong way, this is my brand. I got to take care of it. I got to be worried about who I bring on. I already had to get rid of 1 episode because of somebody that I found that was a total piece of shit, and that's why their episode is no longer in the stratosphere of First Class Second Place.
Oh damn!
Yep, shots fired. But anyway, so then afterwards they gave this whole diatribe about their upbringing and how they spent a whole bunch of years in prison and how they turned their life around and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't have a good vibe from this. I mean, I'm glad that everything is working out for you, and hope everything goes well. But I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was a good fit. So I had to respectfully decline.
Wait, so y'all recorded and
no,
then
we did. The episode that I got rid of.
Okay, no, so that was someone else. But the person who reached out to you who wanted to come on the show, you were just thinking it wasn't. Yeah, that's fine. It's your show.
Yeah, because I feel like they just, these people that try to say that they want to come on and preach the good word, or, they want to get their story out. But in reality, it's an ego stroke. And that's why you have to feel them out. And listen, I'll even be straight up with you. I've actually had some episodes with some guests that were just complete duds. Like, I felt like I was having a conversation with a rock and a stone.
I'm screaming. I think I heard someone laugh.
That was Scooter.
That's hilarious, first of all. And second of all, okay, can I ask you a question?
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
So what made you want to bring those people on, like, initially? Like, did you see something in them that was like, you felt like it could be a good conversation? Or?
Okay, so I wanted to bring them on for 2 reasons. One, they were talented musicians. I really liked their music. And 2, I saw them on another podcast of a former friend of mine, and they did great on that one. They were good, and they had good music. So I was really excited to have them. And then there was a situation where I had to be rescheduled because of something that happened in their personal life. That's their business.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get to around maybe 2 months later, and then finally we get him in studio, and one was just completely silent, like they didn't say anything, they didn't even give eye contact, and the other one was just like slurring his words and speaking extremely slow.
Was he drunk?
No, he was high.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of put a mandate where, like, listen, I understand that it's a free country and everybody can do whatever they want, but if you need
not a mandate.
You have to do this.
No, you're right. Okay, go on. Sorry. What is the mandate?
The mandate is, like, do it after.
Bitch, don't come hide in my shit.
Exactly.
I get that.
That's a no for me, dog.
I get that.
Yeah, so, I mean, and ironically, the episode is still up. That's not the one that I took down.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, but you have to be really mindful because, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think that the show has been able to level up and reach a great amount of people that I never thought would be, listen to it or partake in it. But that's when you have to weed it out. And I don't take pleasure in saying this, but there's a lot of musicians out there, specifically rappers, that want to come on because they got an album coming out, and that's not what my show is about. I'll plug it and everything, but I want to know who the person is, not what they're promoting.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I get that.
Right. So, I mean, on top of the other hats that you have, besides just being a dog mom and a podcaster, one of the things that you've been doing that you can see on your social media and on your YouTube at Marissa Tonge, or Risfit Kitty, I should say.
Risfit Kitty.
And so I want to know, like, you did this travel retreat with a group of women, and you're all about women empowerment, and you're doing these retreats. You've been to Bali, you've been to Mexico, I think it was.
Yes, we went to Cabo last year.
Cabo, okay, there you go. So that's such a great idea. Like, where did that idea come from?
Ooh, where did the idea come from? The idea came from. Sorry. The idea came from a solo trip, actually. So I took my first. So I've always liked to travel. Like, I would travel with my friends. Like, honestly, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was going to Miami for mad years, like with most young girls were.
I know exactly, because I was doing the same thing.
Exactly, most of us were, like, between, I don't even know what year, but like since I want to say like 18 to probably like 22, I was going to Miami, just like, and it was fun. It was always like girls trips, and then I was like, okay, I want to see more.
You were
like
before YOLO was a thing.
Right, exactly. So I think, like, I just always had like a desire to travel and just see more of the world. So my first trip that actually, took me outside of like this area, like, I've been to Cali, but I was like, well, I want to see like the mountains. Like, I want to go to like Arizona. And I think one year, like, I had asked my friend to come with me, and like she couldn't. And then I was just like, I'm not waiting for anybody. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, and it would be, I think like it was multiple trips that like I had asked people to come on and stuff. And like, it just didn't work out schedule wise, money wise, whatever. So I was just like, I'm going to take this trip by myself. And it was great. It was amazing. And then from there, it like sparked. I was like, that would be dope if I brought some of my people who take my classes out here and like just made it like a whole weekend.
Right. But what I love about it is that it's not just a typical girls trip. Like, there's a method behind it. Like,
there's guys who come. Well, there's one guy who comes. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Now, but the point that I'm getting at is it's meant to have a bigger purpose as opposed to just getting away from your everyday troubles. Because I've seen on your social media and on your YouTube that you guys even have like dance numbers, or I don't know if you guys have seances, or there's something that you guys do within the group that's very meaningful, and that's the crux of the retreat, as opposed to just being a regular ratchet girls trip,
Oh, definitely not ratchet. Okay, we're not doing that.
I didn't say
I know. I know. But no, it's definitely not.
Like, Tiffany Haddish is not part of your crew or anything like that.
I mean, okay, so the thing is, like, the retreats are open to anybody, right? So like, anybody could come with good vibes. Like, a disclaimer for anybody who's thinking about coming, but it's open to anybody. So like if you're a guest, somebody who's watching your show is like, ooh, like, you know, a retreat sounds good, right? But the retreats are different. So like now that we're on, like we're about to have number 5, which is crazy. And then we have 6 coming up in September. So like every retreat is so different. Like Arizona, that was more like, it was more just kind of like a weekend, like let's party, but also like let's meditate and let's do yoga, but also like let's do like a Jeep tour in the mountains. Like it was a lot.
Right.
So it also depends on just like the location, like what the location has to offer. So like when I'm building these itineraries, like I'm thinking about like, why would I go to this particular place? Like what's special about this place? What do I want to see? What does it have to offer? So that's kind of how I like build the retreats and the itineraries or whatever. But yeah, they're all different. Like this one coming up in June, it's in upstate New York. This is the first time we're doing something local because people have asked. You know, some people don't have passports. Some people, they don't want to travel too far. They can't take days off, or they don't want to be away from their kids too long, whatever reason. Yeah. So we're doing one in New York in the summer. It's the first day of summer. It's going to be amazing. So that one is definitely more like chill. Like come, let's meditate. Let's set intentions for the summer. Let's do yoga. Let's manifest, you know, like it's going to be nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're a very positive person, and I love your energy and all the things that you preach and so on and so forth. So specifically with these retreats and all the other places that you've been to, these 5 destinations that you've been to, and since you're always about positivity and trying to make the best out of every situation, out of all of the retreats that you've been to, which one would you say was the one that gave you the most hope about humanity as a whole?
Ooh. In what way? Can you like
I guess I would say I would put it like a place that you knew it was great, but you didn't expect it to even have that much of an impact on you, as opposed to just people that you brought along.
I would say San Diego. Like that was my first time. So with some of the retreats, like, so for instance, like Arizona and Curacao, those were inspired by like solo trips. So like I already had an idea of like what to expect there. But San Diego, I had never been. So that was my first time being there with the girls from the retreat and the boy. Hey, Junior. So yeah, it was the first time I was being there, you know, all together. And like I had my expectations, but I didn't really know. And San Diego's so special. Like I can't wait to go back. I'm planning.
Yeah, I've only been to California once in my life, but it was Northern California. I went to Sacramento. I skydove in Sacramento. And I went to San Francisco to party with my friends for the weekend.
Yeah.
But I remember I wanted to go to Los Angeles because I'd never been to Los Angeles. Still haven't. I haven't been to SoCal yet. I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
But I was actually planning to do a solo trip to Southern California back in 2020. The problem is COVID had other ideas for not just me, but the rest of the world.
Of course.
And there was a couple of people that said, well, fuck that. You still could have gone. You know, you still could have had your best time over there. I'm like, how? I probably would have just stayed in my house, in my hotel or Airbnb the entire time because everything was closed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there was probably so much restrictions where I probably even couldn't go on a beach because it was blocked off. So I don't know. That it just wasn't the right time, I guess. You know, I've learned now that more than ever that divine timing has actually become a thing.
Exactly.
And you know, that's actually a nice segue that we can get into. But before we get into that, I just want to take this time to introduce to everybody of this artwork right here that is called Simplistic. It is made and designed by a talented friend of mine by the name of Osei the artist. You guys can follow all of his Jersey. He's a Jersey-based artist. He has a home studio here in Garfield, New Jersey. He's open to all commissions, serious inquiries only. You can find him on Instagram at Osei_the_artist. That is OSSAY_the_artist. So check out all of his work there. Highly recommended. Thank you so much, Osei, for sponsoring the show. So, kind of lost my train of thought here. Oh, I got it now. So, I've actually been realizing now that divine timing has become more of a thing, and I'm more open-minded to it. And I think that the journey that I'm on right now for the last couple of years have been very key to being a lot more open-minded. I was a much more closed-minded person. I only saw everything in tunnel vision, and I was wondering why I was always so unhappy. I guarantee you that if we actually met maybe 10, 15 years ago, you would probably keep your distance from me because of how our dynamics are just different. Like you've always been the person that I feel like you've always been this way. I was a completely different person, but sometimes I feel like I had to go through what I had to go through in order to see how I was fucking up. Yeah, and I'm eternally grateful, and I feel like now when it comes to specifically divine timing, I just realized that it's never too late, and it's always meant to happen at the right possible time. You just got to be open-minded to it. Who knows? The signs could have been there all along, and I was just having tunnel vision, and it took hardships and heartache and all this other bullshit in order for me to get out of it. But you know what? Another part of showing growth is not being pessimistic, like, well, why the fuck didn't I see this happen back then? No, I'm actually taking it in, I'm receiving it, as the kids say, and now I just don't look at it as like, well, why didn't I learn this before? This is perfect for me. It's a perfect timing, whether it was now or later. It was meant to be the way that happened.
Yeah, you have to change. Everyone has to change. Like, if you are not changing, you're not living, right? Like, nobody's supposed to stay the same. And like, I accept, you saying like, I've been this way, but I also have had like things that I needed to change about myself. Like, I definitely was like in relationships, involved with people that I had no business being involved with, like just certain habits that I had to drop. Like, I think I talked about that in my last solo episode, just like, dropping things and changing and clearing space and just like making room to become a better person and to really like, call in the things that you really want. Like, for instance, like, would you be doing this podcast if you were the same person you were 10 years ago? Probably not.
Or I probably would have done it, but it wouldn't be received the way that it's being received now.
Right.
It probably would have got so much negative feedback, and it could have blown me up, or it could have brought me down. Either way, no scenario is good. Like, it would have been a failure for me where I never do it again, or it actually could have took me to the top. But then I would have like this theme about me, for lack of a better term. Like, people would
negativity
know me,
attached.
Yeah, like people know me as that guy. Oh, he's that guy. I know about his show. Yeah, he's that guy. And I don't know if that's
like Wendy Williams. I love Wendy though. I miss her.
But isn't she like isn't she sick or something now?
This is such a sensitive topic for me because like I feel like I have such a soft spot for Wendy Williams because like I watched her show for so many years and like she's hilarious. Like she is hilarious, and also she's a Jersey legend. Like can we give her flowers for real? Like, Wendy's from down the shore. Like, she made something of herself. Yeah, not maybe in the best way. Like, she was kind of doing this, and then she had her radio show. She was on a radio show, but she was just talking. Like, she was airing people out.
Yeah.
She was airing. And it's crazy? She aired out Diddy.
She did. The evidence is there.
Yeah. Like, she been new. I feel like Wendy has known about like so much shit in the industry for so many years, and like it's crazy. But yeah, she's sick and people are taking advantage of her right now. Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Listen, I used to listen to her show here and there. I wasn't like a devoted fan to listening to it, but I would check it out every now and then, especially if she had good guests.
Yeah.
And I thought that from a pure radio talent standpoint, she was talented, and she did what she had to do. And I'm also a sucker for radio voices, and she had a phenomenal one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, what I wanted to switch over to now also is, so as I mentioned before, I was just on your episode of your podcast. We called it Gender Wars, and I love the conversation. It's been well received and everything. And we'll talk a little bit about it, but I want everybody that's watching this and listening to this to go check out that episode and watch it, listen, like, subscribe, the whole nine. But I guess when we didn't get around to it because there was just so much that was going on when we were recording it, I guess I just wanted to know, what was it about that particular topic that you wanted to talk about, and how did I have the honor of being the one that you wanted to speak to this subject about?
You were the sacrificial lamb. Let me stop. Nah, I was really thinking about, like, I feel like I was talking to my girl about it. I was like, it would be so cool to have like a male perspective on the podcast, or we could talk about dating, because I had my girl Lauren, shout out to Lauren.
Yep.
I had my girl Lauren on the show, and she's a therapist. We talked about like her whole thing, like she just started up her own private practice, and her whole audience is like women who are trying to like get through, you know, toxic relationships or dating patterns or just like not finding the right partners. So she was the perfect person to come on and like talk about that. But I was like, it would also be nice to have this conversation, similar conversation with a man. And especially like a single man is nice because we can kind of like talk about, you know, just dating in general, like in this day and age.
Yeah. And by the way, she also is a podcaster, if I'm not mistaken. She has the Let's Go Girls pod.
Yes.
I actually saw that. Well, I mean, I watched all of your episodes anyway, so I thought that was a really good one. So yeah, definitely shout out to Lauren Walsh, dating, relationship therapist, life coach, the whole nine. Definitely check out her podcast, Let's Go Girls. And just because it says Go Girls doesn't mean it's just regulated to that. No, but I definitely felt, like I mentioned before plenty of times with you and on the mic, that, you know, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that tends to come out and everything. So I appreciate the fact that you wanted me to come on. But at the same time, again, divine timing, because we are both now, you and I are in a position where we're saying no to dating. As currently constituted, you know, because
as of today, that could change next week.
Right. You get what I'm saying, though. You get where I'm going at. But we're keeping an open mind here, you know. But the crux of it is that we need to focus on what we need to focus on in our daily lives and what we're doing. Like, I don't know, maybe we can get into a little bit about your reasons, but I said on the show before, and you also kind of know my reasons, where I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to love myself all over again or if I'm loving myself for the first time ever. So that's where I'm at right now. And it's cliche, but it's true. How can you learn to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? So that's where I'm at right now. And that's why I've put a furlough on dating for right now. So what is it? What kind of gave you that idea to be in the position now to actually go with that mindset?
Damn. Well, I was dating someone for some years up until last year. So it was a very like casual relationship. However, like it was still a relationship. Like I'm one of those people, like I'm not gonna say like, because it's not like committed, we're about to get married, that it's not a relationship. A relationship is a relationship, right? Like your friendships, that's a relationship. Your parents, that's a relationship. So like anytime you're involved with someone and that person is a part of your life, it's a relationship. So we were in this, you know, very casual relationship for, you know, a couple years, and it was open. Like, you know, I had made things very clear. Like that was the thing. We had different wants, right? Like this person was older than me, was never married, didn't want to get married, no kids. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I want to get married one day. Like, I might want to have kids. Like, we just wanted different things, but also, like, we were accepting of where we were, right? But I knew that, like, I was changing. And, like, I just didn't want to waste time with someone who didn't want the same things as me, essentially, right? Like, it's kind of like, at some point, it has to disperse and like you guys are gonna go your own way. So I made that decision last year to really just take the time to like focus on myself, focus on my career. Last year I went into business full time. I knew that was going to take a lot of my attention and focus, and that was a decision I need to make. So since then, you know, I'll be a full-time entrepreneur in August. That's when I launched the podcast.
Right.
So, you know, maybe after that, let me stop. I don't know. But it's been like just about me, which I love. Like I really have never had the time in my life where I was just not dating someone or like interested in not dating someone. So it's been nice to just do me.
Right. Now, what's interesting is one of the many people that we know mutually, I won't say their name on the show, but we actually had a conversation because they saw the episode that we did and they loved it. And she said something that kind of stuck out to me. And I'll get a little bit deep and personal on here. So she was like,
I know her.
Yeah, you know her, but I won't say her name.
Tell me after.
Yes, I will. She's definitely done a couple of your classes before.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was like, I really enjoyed the conversation as people in your 30s. Some people our age would feel unaccomplished or unfulfilled without having these milestones, but you both are happy and secure with your decisions, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, the reason I bring that up is because, yes, she's right, but I would have to, I think I would be remiss if I say that I don't know if I'm actually completely happy with my decision. And the only reason I say that is because I've always been a relationship kind of guy. I've always looked at myself as the quintessential guy that, has the family with the beautiful home and the white picket fence, and we live happily ever after, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that dream has yet to come to fruition, but I'm still holding out hope. But the reason I say that I'm not happy fully with my decision is because this is something that I feel like I have to do. This is a hurdle that I have to overcome. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like it per se, but I have to put myself in an uncomfortable position in order for me to rise to the occasion. And I've done so many things, and the results just went nowhere. So but maybe those weren't the right ones, and I have to take a different approach. And sometimes taking a different approach, it relies on uncomfortability. So I'm just hoping, and I'm very confident, and I'm very trying to put that manifestation out there that it's going to work out in the long run. But I'd be really remiss to say that I'm actually completely 100% happy with this decision. I'm not, but I feel like this is what I have to do.
Yeah. And it's completely healthy to take that time. Like, I emphasize that so much on my podcast, that like it's healthy to have single seasons and like just to really get to know yourself or to heal. Like we go through things sometimes and like we don't even take the time to really like register what has happened, or to even heal from the previous relationship. Like we go into one relationship still with the same baggage or the same like complaints or ideas about like how the other gender are, which is what we talked about on our podcast. Like I could have like the whole like men ain't shit mentality because I had that situation, with a previous person, and then I go into that with the same mindset. Like, so sometimes you just need that time and space to kind of like clear, like clear your mind, and just do like a reset. And then also like for me, I'm big on becoming the person that like I want to attract, or becoming the person that like the partner that I want them to like know my value. You know what I'm saying? So like I want to show up in a certain capacity, and I expect them to show up in a certain capacity. So like I can't come into a relationship like looking for like certain things in a partner, like if I don't have my shit together, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like in different ways.
And why do you think that so many people now more than ever are so insecure? And that's why we're relegated now to just having options.
So you're saying that like people are insecure, so they want options?
Well, they have options because they're insecure. Like they feel like if it's not going to work out with one person, that they need to have a backup. Whereas I feel like back in the not generation, but a little bit further back in time, it was like when we had an idea or our sights were set on somebody, and we just felt that whatever is inside you, and you're just focused on that one person, but then somewhere along the line, generational traumas and insecurities have come to the point where like we have to have a backup plan in case this doesn't really work out. I've been through it. I don't know if you've been through it, but listen, we're in a dating era now where everything is digital. We're dating online. The days of kind of meeting somebody by happenstance at a grocery store is pretty much dead at this point. You have to really just.
I don't believe that.
Pretty much. I didn't say all the way. It's still possible, but it's very few far in between now. I mean, because I'll tell you right now, like I already mentioned this on our episode, where I'm not on any dating apps right now. I'm not on anything. I'm not shooting in anybody's DMs. I'm not trying to holler at anybody. I'm trying to let it happen organically.
Yeah.
But I'm also realizing that we're in a different time now, where it's like I really have to be open minded, because if not, I'll miss it. But I have to really read the signs out there. But it's not the new norm now, unfortunately. Like it's so much easier for me to meet somebody online, but that doesn't make the process any easier.
Yeah, I think it's just the times, like everybody's online. So like your chances of meeting someone online are going to be higher, rather than like, are most people really doing things outside, like, and then it depends like where are you spending most of your time? Like, are you at bars? Like, So I think it depends where you're going, and also like intentions. Like I'm big on that. So like, do you have an intention to meet someone? Do you want, like, are you putting yourself out there? Like for me, I know I'm not putting myself out there, so the chances of me finding someone are low. But I'm also cool with that because I'm not trying, like, the same thing as you.
Right.
You know, I'm not looking for that. But I think if you are, you do have to put yourself out and just be open to the possibilities of, like, you know, you never know where you're gonna meet this person or how you're gonna come across them.
Now, you asked me a very difficult question on your episode.
Oh God.
Where it was the 50-50 thing, you know, and my reaction was priceless.
Do you wish I briefed you on that?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm totally comfortable with how everything went. You know, you know me. Even Scooter knows that. I put myself out there. I have no shame. But I guess to kind of throw it back at you, not the 50-50 thing, but this is a question that most women don't like answering, but we keep it real here. So
let's just be real.
Name me at least 3 of the biggest red flags that you look for or you try to avoid when it comes to dating.
Ooh.
We got time.
3 red flags. Okay. Damn. You know, okay. Can you give me like a scenario? I'm a very like visual person. So like, are we
first date scenario?
First date. Okay, got you. First date.
Because that's usually the first impression, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to see what's going to set the tone going forward.
Yeah.
So first date scenario.
First date, okay, they're complaining about previous relationship. Like, that's a red flag to me.
Because you're clearly not over it.
You're clearly not over it. You clearly don't need to be dating, maybe even therapy, you know? 2, it's going to be split the bill for me. It's gonna be splitting the bill for me.
So you expect them to fully pay?
Absolutely.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
On a first date, especially.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on your show that I'm always the guy that pays the first date the whole 9, but that's just me. I'm wired that way.
Yeah.
Not everybody is.
Well, yeah. That's red flag.
Right.
3, I would say. Just someone who doesn't seem like they have an idea of where their life is going, or like they're not really sure. They seem like unsure of just like themselves, their future. They don't really have goals. They don't really have a plan. Yeah, that's like red flag.
Have you ever been on a first date where they seem like a very nice person, but their lack of confidence was just a huge red flag to you? Almost to the point of you kind of pitied them.
Not really. Like there was one time that I went out with someone. It wasn't that they weren't confident. They were just like a little nerdy, which it's not a bad thing.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I like nerdy a little bit, but like maybe trying too hard. Like that is, yeah.
Like over the top compliments and
yeah, like just kind of saying some things that like they thought it was a compliment, but it was just too much.
It was backhanded.
It was just like, I don't know. I can't describe it.
It just didn't give you good vibes.
Yeah. It was just like, okay.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So, I mean, pretty common. I mean, I also know a couple of ones where like if you're rude to the waiter or waitresses, that's another one.
That's a good one.
That goes to show.
Especially because we've worked in the industry. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, I've been through it before. It sucks.
That's gross.
Yeah. And I'm also in lockstep with you about, not splitting the bill. I understand that completely. That's just the way that I was raised.
Yeah.
But no, I was just something that came up because I do remember going on a date with somebody last year, and they're a very sweet person. But there was 2 things. One, they didn't exactly look like who they were in their profile pic. But you know what? I'm not that. I'm not that superficial. I've learned people to love who they are on the inside, not on the outside.
I'm about to choke.
You're right. You're okay. But like one of the things that I was actually sad because they were just like not very confident in themselves, and they just always moping about what was going on in their life and so on and so forth. And I was just like, man, just the itty bitty bit of confidence in yourself can go so far. But it was really sad to see. And that's when I also learned that this isn't something that men go through. Women go through as well. I just think that women know how to hide it better. But this was not one of those cases.
Damn. Yeah. That is, so I do confidence coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like confidence is just one of those things that women are not taught. Like, it's just not a natural, like, your parents are not really having you stand in front of the mirror and like say nice things to yourself, or like your parents are not asking you to like repeat affirmations. They're not like, especially like I was thinking I'm doing like this whole like inner child healing right now, and like just like going through like things that have happened in my life. And something came up where I'm like, there's been situations where like other women have put me down, and I can see where like that could take a toll on your confidence, you know, and this is from a young age. Like, I was thinking about this and I was like 10 years old, where there were like two girls in school and they were just like, you think you're cute? Like, and it's just like, why are we, you know? So like it starts young. Yeah. And I don't think, you could let me know, like I don't know if men go through that like at such a young age, but like
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just we tend to put up this hard exterior where we feel like we don't let it bother us, but it does.
Yeah. It's just so much like bullying, and I just remember not even being bullied like at that time. Yes, that was like fifth grade or something. But then like I just remember like these instances of just like good girls just saying like ridiculous things for no reason. And if I really allowed all of that to like, if I believed the things that, you know, were said to me and stuff, like I would not be a confident person. But that's why like I'm so passionate about having women like build their confidence and work on that, because it's that like that is everything. Right. If you're not confident, like you said, you're not going to show up as your best self on dates. You're not going to show up as your best self at work. You're not going to show up as your best self in your relationships. You know, like you're going to be afraid to ask for what you want, more money, the partner you want. You're going to settle for less. Like there's just so many things that are attached to your confidence. And I don't think like a lot of people even understand that or realize it.
Right. But it's also, I feel like it's one of those things where it's kind of easier said than done. So I guess to kind of put it and contextualize it a little bit, like what were some of the things that you did personally to build yourself up and get this confidence that you're displaying now in everyday life?
So I talk about this a lot on my podcast, but one particular thing is putting myself in uncomfortable situations. So that's something that could always build confidence, because let's be real. Let's be real. Yeah. Okay, like a lot of people don't do things because they're afraid of like how it's going to make them look, how it's going to make them feel. They're going to look stupid in front of other people. They're going to fail, you know, like even something like trying a dance class, you know, like I remember my first heels class. If you guys are like dancers or you watch dance videos, Aaliyah Janelle, she's like this dancer in LA, and she was like, I think like my second heels class ever. And this was like before I was teaching, you know, I was not training as a heels dancer or whatever. Right. And I just threw myself in that class. I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And like here I am years later now teaching women how to dance in heels. So like you have to put yourself out there. Like, but people are so afraid of like how they look, especially now with social media, because everyone's to post everything. And if it's not post worthy or it's not something you could brag about or, you know, get validation for, people don't want to post it or put it out there.
No. Hey, listen, I mean, people will always display their wins on social media. Yeah. They won't show off their failures. So you can't really take it all that seriously. Right. And I guess part of the reason why I asked you that question is because I know that you are a strong woman, very strong-willed and all this and so forth. But at the end of the day, you're human. You know, you have those moments where, you know, it's you can't keep up that wall. And you got to kind of take a breather to yourself in order to get back to who you are. Absolutely. You know? So what do you do in order, you know, to get back to that when you do have those moments of vulnerability? Like feeling less confident?
I gas myself up. For real. Like everything that I tell like my students and my clients to do, like I do. Like I can't tell you to do something if I'm not doing it. So that could mean me, you know, just dressing up for no reason, getting cute, you know, putting on a cute outfit. that could be me writing down, you know, things in my journal, things I love about myself, good qualities about myself. That could be just dancing and like just getting back to like my essence and like, you know, or just watching my Instagram. I do this sometimes. Like, I don't know if you do this, but I stalk myself. Like, I go on my Instagram and I'll just like look at my stuff and I'm just like, damn, like, you're really a bad bitch. Like, and you're really out here doing shit, you know? So it's like, you have to be that person for yourself, because you cannot look for people to gas you up and to always be like, you know, like you did at the beginning of your show today, like, you know, all these nice things, like, that's great, you know, to have that and to, you know, have someone like acknowledge you for things, but you have to be able to say those things to yourself. You have to.
And you know, there was one of the videos that you had on your social media. You guys can follow Wristfit Kitty, and you were in front of your girls at a heels class, and you were speaking to them, and I love this, where you were talking about how, you know, you felt kind of weird kind of putting yourself out there on social media with the way you dance and the way you carry yourself, because you didn't want to feel like you were quote unquote a narcissist. But somebody pointed out to you like, no bitch, you're not a narcissist, put that shit out there, be proud of yourself, you know. You got something that people wish that they could have. So it's okay to have those moments. And one of the reasons why I feel like I love that is because I felt like a lot of that stuff that was stopping me from putting myself out there was being judged by my family. Like, you know, they would always point out that I may come off as cocky or a narcissist or this and that, and that caused a lot of insecurity for me to put myself out there.
They be the biggest haters, your own family.
Oh yes. And
your own family.
Yeah. They're supposed to be your biggest fans, but no, but that has a long lasting effect on you, and it happened when I was a kid, you know, before we even had social media. So I just it took a little bit of time. It wasn't something that I jumped into right away, but you know, this is me kind of flexing a little bit, not to be cocky or anything, but I'm just flexing a little bit.
Talk your shit.
Yeah. What are the kids saying now? Speak your truth.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm a much better podcaster than I was when I first started now, and I'm also better than a lot of you motherfuckers out there. Just putting it out there. Yeah, drop them balls, Scooter.
Damn.
Drop them balls. Step your game up.
He said, y'all ain't shit.
Yeah, so all right, we got a little bit of time left here. So I like I said before, you have plenty of hats. You're a podcaster, you're a dog mom, you're a heels dancer, you got retreats, you got all that.
That's stressing me out, you naming all these things. I'm like, damn, I gotta go home and do all this. Let me stop. Yeah. But yeah, no, it is a lot.
But you're excelling at it. You're excelling at it. But
thank you.
Is there anything that, it doesn't have to be right away, but maybe later on down the line, that you feel like you haven't tapped into yet, but it really does interest you and you want to tackle it at some point in your life?
Ooh. So I am like kind of superstitious in this way where like I don't like to talk about things until they're manifesting.
So you don't have to specifically point it out there, but you can say that there are things that are percolating.
For sure. Okay. Like one thing I don't care about, because I've already put a journal out, but I want to write a book.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like I've already kind of like started small. If you guys don't know, I have a journal that you guys can purchase, but got
merch.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Also, journal merch. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've definitely got to get one myself. Just make sure you send me the link so I can support. Yes. Yeah. Because that's actually something that I started tackling on recently. Started journaling.
And you can use it to like I use my journal to like plan things too. Like I don't just use it to like, you know, sit and write like sad stories, but like I use it, you know, like to like manifest things or to put my to-do list or things, ideas that pop up in my head.
Or just simply put your thoughts on paper, you know, because it's still an outlet. You're getting it out, so it doesn't stay stuck swimming in your head.
Exactly.
And that's what I've been doing recently. Like sometimes, like I don't do the whole stereotypical like dear journal, today this happened, whatever. I just kind of pour my heart and soul out on paper as to what I'm thinking at that particular moment in time. And it's amazing how once you get it out, you feel so much better. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because we're not meant to like hold a bunch of things just in our minds, in our bodies. Like we have to release things, you know.
Yeah.
Like
and me being a guy, I was taught pretty much all my life that we're supposed to hold that shit in because that's what's going to motivate us in order to do better. But I don't think that applies to every single person.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I personally never understood how, somebody like my father, he would be like, oh, I just piss you off so I can motivate you. Like, no, you're actually putting me down and actually making it worse for me.
Damn. And you know what? I feel like for some people that might work. Like, I'm one of those people where, like, if someone pisses me off, like, I'm going to get revenge through my success. So, like, I feel like for some people that could work depending on, the type of person you are and all that. But it's still, that's not really, like, a good way to motivate your children, though.
Yeah. I mean, but, in some weird way, I'm kind of glad I went through what I did as a child to know what not to do when that time comes to be a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom watches the show, so don't take anything negative, Mom. I'm just pointing it out there. But,
hey, Ma.
Yeah, I think you did a fine job with your son here, and the rest of your kids too. So don't worry about it. All right. Well, listen, Marissa, I feel like I could talk to you for hours and hours, and in multiple cases we have, but we are pressed for time now. But I just want to say that I am absolutely proud of everything that you're doing. You are kicking ass. You are taking names. You are thriving. You're just the shit.
Can I show you guys my? Because I feel like
hydrated, thriving, dancing. There you go.
That's what
You're
we're
a marketing
doing.
machine. You see that?
RealRhythmDanceandFitness.com.
Right.
not me being those people you talked about coming on the podcast trying to plug.
But the difference is you're not boring. You're not fucking high out of your mind right now. You're actually engaged in the conversation. So don't even put yourself in that same stratosphere as those people. No disrespect to them, though.
True.
No, but I'm very proud of everything that you're doing, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate your friendship and you being honest with me and keeping it real with me, even off the mic and off the cameras. I really appreciate your friendship, and I really genuinely love you as a person, Marissa.
Thank you, Jason. Oh. I received that, and I love you, and I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, we've said it plenty of times on the show, but once again, can you tell everybody where they can find you real quick?
Yes. You guys can find me on Instagram at WristFitKitty, and you can follow my business page, Real Rhythm Dance Fitness. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Marissa Tonge. It's Tonge. And we also have some free workouts on our YouTube page for Real Rhythm Dance Fitness. So if you're trying to dance, get fit, get your body right, get snatched, summer's coming, stop playing around. Pull up classes are in Richfield, New Jersey, so you guys can come. We have literally a class for everyone. So I don't care if you've been sitting on the couch for the past 3 years. Pull up, get moving. It's time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Real Vibe Tribe, by the way.
Yes. You're part of it now.
Yeah. I made it. All right. Well, Marissa, I can't thank you enough again for coming through here. We definitely got to do this again. And I'm looking forward to coming on your show again.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place. Thank you so much again to my lovely guest, Marissa Tonge. You can find me at I am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Just type in Jason Enrique. You'll find me there. Be tuning for new episodes coming soon. Check out Yo BTV Sports with my great co-host, You Go Boy from the You Go Boy podcast. Everybody up here at Bravery Studios, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the First Class, Second Place podcast. We out.